Okay, this is R.O.E Graphics and Apparel, back with another installation video. In this one we will be installing the hood flag that we sell. When you get it, it will be in a tube and it will be rolled up nice and tight like this. When you receive it in the mail, it may have some imperfections from it being shifted around. It may even hit the vinyl a little bit. This is okay. It does not hurt the vinyl. You will be fine. So when you get it, the first thing you want to do is you want to take it out. You want to lay it down on a flat surface. You'll see that it kind of wrinkles in the application tape and in certain areas. Don't worry about it. The vinyl itself, once it's off the backing, is very malleable and it will not show once it's installed. So the very first thing that we do when installing a decal is we have to clean our surface area. You want to use a Dawn and water mixture to remove any wax from it. If you do clay bar your vehicle beforehand, especially on older vehicles such as this, which is a 20-year-old vehicle, you'll want to remove the wax that you use to clay bar it after that. So first you take a bottle of soap and water and you spray down the area. With a microfiber, you want to remove all the dirt. Make sure there's no dust and dirt underneath the area where you want the decal to lay, because it will show. For demonstration purposes, we didn't clay bar this vehicle, so you'll see these bumps and imperfections on the hood. They will show through if you do not do this, but it's just kind of the nature of upgrading a old car. It will really only be noticeable to you because you'll see it. Alright. Once the area is clean, no more wax on the vehicle, no more dirt, dust, we now need to lay the decal onto the vehicle. We're going to be using masking tape or even painter's tape. The blue tape works pretty well. And we're going to do a hinge install method. We'll take two pieces of tape and grab our decal. You want to avoid it falling on the ground like what just happened. Usually bringing out like a little table or something to lay your stuff on is good. Because if you get dirt under the decal, that's not good either. You could tear it when applying it, but we're okay because it just hit the outer surface. We didn't unhook it and it didn't blow away. So first and foremost though, flag etiquette. We get this a lot from everybody. So on the driver's side of the vehicle and in a vertical or a horizontal formation, you always want the stars forward, stripes back. On the passenger side, you want it the same way. This flag will not work on the passenger side because it has to be mirrored. On the hood, there is no etiquette. Now when hanging, you want the stars on the left, always on the left. But on a hood, there is no etiquette. So you can either choose, we have two options. One with the stars in the top left, like it's hanging, or one where it's in the bottom left so that it's running. The colors are running and the stars are forward, never retreating. So for this one we chose the flag that is most commonly purchased, because when you're driving down the road it's going this way like it would be on the driver's side. So that's why we chose this one. It's personal preference. There is no etiquette involved with how to position your hood flag. We are also going to do not a center install, we're going to do it slightly off on the side of this hood. It's a large hood. We can size these to anything that you want, just ask us. But for our purposes, we're going to put this right on the corner of the hood in front of us. We lay it down. I'm going to make the middle stripe follow the curvature of the hood cowl. Right there. Grab our piece of tape, put it in the center. Grab our other piece of tape. On big hoods, unless you're 6'4" or something, you might want to get a step stool. I'm 5'11", I have a step stool. Line stuff up. There's my second part of the hinge. So now that that's on there, we pick this up and we have it positioned that way. Now what we're going to do is, because during transit, humidity, rain, heat, cold will will kind of separate the application tape, even though we use a high-tack application tape. So we'll want to repress the decal back onto the application tape and back. Mainly the corners of the decal, because they can kind of separate. Especially on the hood decal with the pointy stars, you really want to make sure that those are sticking to the application tape well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to peel the decal and application tape from the backing halfway. This is called Hinge method, and lay it back on itself. Get your step stool, make sure you're comfortable, because wind blows. We're doing this outside. We're doing it in circumstances that you would normally have, to show you that it is possible. We have a warehouse, we have a place to do this, but we want to show you how a non-professional would install our decal. Get your scissors handy. Get your stool in case you need it. Now, if your corners don't come up with the application tape, like you may be able to see here, how it's still sticking to the backing, all you have to do is push and pinch it back onto the application tape and pull it back once it sticks, and then you're good. Starting these decals is the hardest. That's about good. Okay, now we take our soap and water solution, usually about 1 to 2 drops in a bottle this big, maybe just 1 drop of Dawn to this whole thing of water, and we're going to spray the surface a little bit, and then we're going to spray the decal just a little bit as well. We do this because it causes a lot less errors. If it's windy, the decal won't stick to itself. Sometimes, depending on how windy it is, you want to spray the decal while you're peeling it back, so in case it flips around on you or anything, that way it won't stick to itself and it won't be ruined, because once vinyl sticks to vinyl, it's done, it's ruined. So we'll just spray this. This process is like the very best process that we found for beginners. I know it's not professional and we get a lot of flack for that, but we're teaching you how to install a decal as a beginner, not as a professional, to make sure that your decal goes on right and everything's fine. Now we take our hard card, either a credit card or a license, depending on how thick it is, and we use this in order to apply it. So now that we have this installed, make sure that it's aligned how we wanted it. Because this has a cowl curvature on it, we're going to start at the top and then work our way down and push down the decal and out so that it conforms with the curve. The beauty about the wet install is that I just laid it down, it's touched the surface, but maybe I don't like the way it's positioned. Well, it comes right back up. And it's not ruined, it's not stuck, everything's fine. So until you apply pressure and squeeze the water out and push the water out, you have time to play with it. So we're going to lay it down, get it to follow our line like we want it to. Lay it down, then from the center, we're going to apply pressure from on the backing side over, just come across, center line, hard, push it out, the water comes out. Same thing, we always want to work from the center out. So from the center out. We always want to go out, up, always like this on your decals. Get the water out. Pushing up along the seam and out. All the water's coming out the back end right now. So because this has some curvature and we want to be able to remove the backing on this side, well, we don't want to apply this side yet. So we'll keep it wet. Doesn't matter how much water you put on our decals. It won't hurt the adhesion or anything. And now that that's done, we are going to flip the decal. Peel the backing off the other side. Remember to work it back slowly so you don't tear the decal anywhere. This down and flat motion back is best for removing. Much easier to pinch and pull if anything starts to lift. So if it gets a little hard to work with, you want to spray the decal a little bit. So that way it doesn't stick to any unwanted areas. There we go. Alright, we're all set. So now that we have that done, we're going to spray the hood a little bit again. A little bit more on the decal. I know it seems like a lot of water and stuff, but as long as your soap mixture isn't too much, it'll be just fine. And then we will press from the center. Go. Now we get to the tricky part. This is like a secondary hinge method in essence. So we got the top laid on, all the water is pushed out for the most part, and now we have to make it conform to this dip in this hood cowl. On this Super Duty, it's a pretty extreme one, so we need to be careful. Just get a little wet. And now we'll come down. You'll see the application tape wrinkling a little bit. That's fine. Just want to get the final fillet right. It will conform. Take your time with it, find the different angles, follow the way the vinyl wants to go so you don't wrinkle it. like I said, cut application tape here and there in order to make it stretch down these very, very steep curves, and then allow you to apply it to the other areas. If you just do it on the flat of the hood, you don't have to do all this. I'm giving you a more advanced way and to show you how to deal with it that way. Otherwise, it's just your standard hinge install method. Continue to work out the bubbles in the water, pressing the vinyl down. Use a fair amount of pressure. And there you have it. So you continue working that for a little bit. You can use a heat gun or even a hair dryer if that's all you have. You just basically need to get it heated up to around 200, no more than 300 degrees. Just keep working it out, evaporating the water as it comes out, and letting it set for a little bit in the sun. You want to install in around 65 plus. 65 is pushing it. You really want 70 in a sunny day, or 75 in your garage or something. But if you don't have that, that's why we're doing this install outside, is to show you that it is possible, and you can do it clean without any dirt or debris, as long as your day is pretty moderate like today. Sun's just now starting to peek out, which would have been better if the sun's out, but you don't want your hood to get too hot because it'll just melt the vinyl as soon as it touches it. So you want to do it in a shaded area and then let it bake in the sun afterwards, if you do it outside, because your hoods and roofs and back windows and stuff can get like 1,000 degrees and it just won't install. So you need to make sure it's around 80 degree surface temperature, so, or less, and then just work it in. So I'm going to heat this up for a little bit because it's a little chilly today for Florida, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute, and we'll work on taking the application tape off. Alright, that should about do it. I just heated it up, got corners to stick, pushed water out, got as many bubbles that I could feel out through the application tape, and we should be good to go. So now I'm going to show you a trick on how to release the application tape from the decal itself. If you just use the same water that we used before and liberally spray it on there, get it nice and soaking wet, and then rub it in with your hard card some more, you'll see it starts to wrinkle off. What it's doing is it's breaking down the adhesion so that it will peel off pretty easily and reduce the risk of pulling up the decal from the vehicle if it's not completely set. If it isn't completely set, you just stop, push it back down, work out the water some more, maybe hit it with a heat gun a little bit longer, and then slowly peel it back again. When you remove the application tape, go slow so that if you do start to lift the piece, you don't rip it, because part of it might be stuck to the car and part of it may not, and then if you pull back too fast, you will tear the vinyl right in half. So I'm going to start spraying this down and working in the water, and then start slowly peeling back the application tape. It's already starting to come off through here. Decal is still on the vehicle, but the application tape is starting to lift easily. When we peel the application tape, we want to peel it back across itself. So flat, don't peel up, peel back across itself. And be sure to go slow. Working slowly from all different angles, down and back. Now you can't see it, but a star started to lift because it didn't stick down completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hard card, and I'm going to get back to it and push it back on and work the water out and try and take it off again. These stars, because they have very little surface area tips and stuff, they do tend to lift a lot. They lift when you're taking them off the backing, they lift when taking them off the car, so you just got to take your time so that you don't tear them when you're taking the application tape off. There we have it. So you may have a couple bubbles in there. You can work them out with your finger. If you work them out with a card, make sure it's got a smooth edge so you don't scratch the vinyl. Sometimes right on the very edges, all you need are your fingers, and just work the water out. If you have any bubbles in the middle, like this one has some bubbles in the middle, you can lightly try and push it out with the tip of your card. If it doesn't go, it's fine. Over time, the sun, hot and cold, will compress and expand the air or the water in there, and they will eventually go away and melt away. Vinyl is petroleum based, so it will melt, but not too much, so bubbles aren't the end of the world. They can take anywhere from a couple days to a couple months to completely go away. There we go. And then we want to dry it up. We'll use our microfiber cloth again, and we will not wipe it down real quickly or anything because it hasn't completely cured. It takes at least 48 hours for it to cure to a good point of not coming off easily. So you want to dab out and push out on the edges any water and stuff like that. Clean it up, dab it, dab it. Especially on the stars, you do not want to hit the corners of the stars. They will lift, you'll get lint and dust under them, and then they won't stick and they'll be ruined. So you just want to dab down on the stars. Then anytime you get like overhang like this, it's not that minor, you don't necessarily need to trim it, you can just tuck it back under and in. Using your finger will work just fine with that. That's all there is to it.